This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News Free Dixie for the 21st century.
Dear black people, people with power don't vote. They just buy their politicians like groceries. Hello, everybody. This is Brother Ron, R2C2H2, the artivist, and you are welcome to another infotaining, edutaining edition of The Artivist Thinks. And that's a line I recently tweeted and wrote on Facebook, and it got some interesting responses. One response I want to read before I get into my thing comes from a good brother that I respect. He said, "They do both. If you don't think the Koch brothers vote, then I got a bridge to sell you, LOL." Okay, interesting. And here's my reply. LOL. They vote with their money. If you look at organized crime, many of them were felons and illegal immigrants like Carlo Gambino of the Gambino crime family of New York City, and Carlos Marcello of New Orleans, another mafia head, kingpin, who were able to stay in this country and make millions and even billions of dollars because they paid to play and got protection by being able to select, not elect, their politicos. Voting is a poor man's game and wet dream. The current governor of Tennessee is a billionaire. The former NYC mayor, Bloomberg, is a billionaire who only got something like $1 a year as his salary. The people always chastised for not voting are black folks, and we are the most disenfranchised and don't own shit. Think about that. Now, I say all that to say, I think it's very important because black folks have been so miseducated, and we actually are, we have regressed from 50 years ago. Because really, at the time of Malcolm and the Black Power movement and the Civil Rights movement, black folks were actually getting more sophisticated as it related to politics, and then we were sold out. Like Dr. King said, we integrated into a burning house. And now 50 years later, black folks don't have a clue on how to play this game with strategy and how to calm their emotions and think about things on a logical term and point of view. Yeah, a lot of us still don't know how the system works for real. A lot of us don't know how it works because to me, I would rather be a billionaire who is a felon versus a poor man with one vote, because you buy your policy by controlling your politicians. You buy your policy by controlling your politicians. Voting don't mean thing. Voting is just a way. It's like going to casino. You know how you go to casino and people think they're winning money when they hit the jackpot? So my thing is that how much money did you lose in order to get that little money back? Think about this, family. When people go to the casino, like sometimes I remember I went to casino one time and they had this wall of fame, quote unquote, with people who won $10,000 and $20,000 and even $100,000. How many tens of thousands of dollars and 20 of thousands of millions of dollars people had to lose in order to get a little bit of money back? See, the house always wins. Regardless if you think you're winning, when you think you win in battles, the house win wars. When you think you won a battle, the house already won the war. So in this politic game, voting is the least you can really do to get ahead in the system. You must organize your economics because, you know, I never hear every year or every 4 or 2 years people telling Asians to vote. You got to vote in the Asian community. Because you know why? They don't have to vote like that, going to a church or a school gymnasium. They vote by their economics. They vote by owning businesses and then writing checks that don't bounce for politicians' campaigns and then having lobby groups on the Hill to advocate their positions with their war chest full. When I mean war chest, I mean their financials in order. Black folks, we don't have any of that organized like we should in this age and period of Obama. This has been basically a squandered experience for black people because we have been left behind because we want somebody to give us a handout instead of a heads up. We want a handout instead of a heads up. And really, it is really interesting that we keep on talking about voting, and voting is the least you can do, is the least effective, because once again, the folks who select the politicians, they also control the vote. Look at the voting machines, Debo. I think Shelby County is one of the few counties in America, one of the few places in America that still use the controversial Debo machines. The one that decided the election back in 2004 in Ohio, they're using them Debo machines. And then the people that create these machines, a lot of them are affiliated with the certain parties. Like, for example, I believe the creator or one of the people that helped create the Debo machines was affiliated with the Republican Party. So really, it's like kind of like the police investigating the police. How can you trust a report when you got the police investigating the police, when you got the wolves investigating the wolves? Same thing with voting. How can you trust the results when you got folks that are already biased, who are already in for one party over the other, controlling the votes? So voting is the least we can do. But having our economics together is the best that we can do in order to finance the agenda that we need. Because you look at the people who got it done in this period of Obama, the immigrant lobbyists, the LGBTQ community, Israel, they got a lot of what they wanted, regardless of what people say about the Iran deal. They got a lot out of this administration because they had the money, they had the financing. People don't really care about morality and compassion. See, that will mess up black folks. We want to appeal to people's consciousness and sense of morality and sense of empathy and compassion. Black folks are the least respected and the least beloved people in this system right now, to be honest with you, because we don't respect ourselves enough to come from a position of strength and power by organizing our economics and protecting our economic interests. It's not good enough to have another Rosewood and a Black Wall Street and a Wilmington and whatever town you want to fit in. If you're not willing to protect your interests, if you are more willing to protect the interests of white supremacy, racism, by joining their militaries and fighting to keep up white supremacy, imperialism, colonialism, militarism, and all types of isms that don't benefit black folks, then you are digging your own grave in this period. And not only are you digging your own grave, but you are also digging a mass grave for generations to come. Stop looking for the hands out or handout and look for the heads up. And I'm giving you the heads up. So it's not going to come from you voting in the school gymnasium or at the local church. Where it is going to come from is from us investing in each other and building up our economy so we can actually have community. So you can't really have a community without controlling your economics. And black folks, nowhere we go, we control our economics. We could gather in places where it makes a lot of money for other people. Even in our own neighborhoods, we don't control the grocery stores. We don't control the institutions. We don't control the schools. If you look at the fact that anywhere that black folks gather comes viable real estate, whether it be in the community, whether it be in prison, whether it be, look at the Harlem Renaissance. Look at where all the black artists and creatives and all the black folks gather. Now black folks can barely afford to stay in Harlem. But the Harlem people, the people that control Harlem are Columbia University and NYU, people like that. They the slum lords of Harlem. But then they control it. So they want the brand. They like the branding, but they want to change the reality. See, America loves black culture, but it does not love black people. America loves black genius, but it does not love black people. America loves to exploit black people. Does not mean that America loves black people. You see what I'm saying? Just because America loves to exploit black people does not mean that America loves black people. So we must love ourselves enough to realize this and to teach this. But we don't teach this because we don't control our curriculum. Because every time I hear black folks say they're not teaching us this in school, that means you do not understand who your enemies are. And like Brother Malcolm said, only a fool would let their enemies be the primary educators of their children. So you creating generations upon generations of fools. Old school fools and new school fools are still fools. And yet you're looking for a handout instead of a heads up. See, this is the problem, and I want to thank everybody to be continued. But I just want to put that out on people's minds. You know, like you think about, for example, the state of Mississippi got more black elected officials than any state in the union, but yet, well over the majority of the prison population are black folks, and people are still living poor in Mississippi. A lot of black folks are still living below the poverty line in Mississippi and behind their education. So it's no good to have titles and positions without purpose. It's no good to have titles and positions if you don't serve your people. And you always just serving yourself. And that's why Dr. King said we integrate into a burning house. Because you see that we lost our moral compass. We lost our identity. We lost our faith. We lost our strength. And when you do that, when you lose your identity, then you lose yourself. Because that means you have no knowledge of yourself. That means you really have no education. That means you're just a goddamn zombie for white supremacy and racism. And that you will always be a victim because you lost the right to be a victim. Because you lost the right to know who you are through knowledge of self. Know thyself and everything else will fall in place. This is Brother Ron, aka R2C2H2, the artivist. If you like what you heard, please feel free to spread the word. And also, if you like what you heard and want to hear more of this, please feel free to donate. You can find all that information at the end of this video. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly and keep on producing and pushing up, you mighty race, and accomplish what you will. I'm out.